All right, Coach. Last week, starting with Wednesday, it took a 1-0 victory over UT Tyler in a very physical match. And then, of course, on Saturday, we traveled up to Wichita Falls, played Midwestern. Unfortunately, the result did not go your way. So just talk to me about your team's performance during last week.
Yeah, Tyler was good. I thought that going into the week, we knew that we had two physical teams that were going to be tough matches. The game against Tyler, I'm struggling right now. How was that goal scored?
It was a free kick into the box
That's right,
that
Abby.
Grayson,
Abby's free kick. So, Abby hits a free kick. Defender misreads it, drops it down, and Grayson is in the right spot at the right time, gets a great goal. Again, defensively, did a good job, get the shutout. Good battling. Possession was okay, got better in the second half, I thought. First half wasn't spectacular, but second half was much better. First half, I felt like we just tried to do what Tyler was doing, which was be direct. And so win that game 1-0. Good goal, great for Grayson to get, give her some confidence and some encouragement. We know that Saturday is going to be a tough game against Midwestern. They've been very tough at home. They've gone several games without giving up shots. So tough one. And we got out there, and from the start, Midwestern was more aggressive, and we got our only shot of the game in that first half was Abby, and had some chances maybe early where we could have done something, but the crosses just weren't good. We didn't have the runners in. Whatever the situation was, it just wasn't enough. And then the game progressively just tilted more and more toward our goal. The midfield, I think that we did well initially when we win the ball, but then as we're moving forward, we just, when the ball went out wide, we just weren't great at keeping possession. And then even when we did keep it back into the middle, a couple times we had players that were in shooting opportunities and we just didn't even take the shot. So Midwestern did a great job. Defensively, they are very strong. Attacking wise, they have some good options. I think they got their first two goals on set pieces. And then the third one, we had brought in Claire just to give her a little bit of experience in dealing with that kind of pressure and that intensity. And then we have a cross come in. Somebody lost their mark, free header, third goal with 2 seconds left. So on the positive side, I think that the players that maybe didn't get to play as much, I think they got in. I think they got kind of smacked around a little bit, and I think that inexperienced players sometimes need to see that that's going to happen, and can we fight through it. So disappointing result. We knew what the week was going to hold. From my perspective, good that we got the win at home, and maybe a missed opportunity on the road, but I think Midwestern's pretty good. I think they'll be in that NCAA tournament talk coming up soon.
And you kind of already touched on it, but before Saturday, you had a 5-game winning streak, all of which were shutouts. Your offense was beginning to ramp it up. And Saturday, obviously not your result you wanted. So just overall, what didn't go as well for you Saturday, and what must be done to recover, and what can you learn from that game going into your next game at Eastern New Mexico?
I think the difference between Midwestern's ability to defend with physicality and intensity and running, I think they just outperformed our midfield, our center midfield. And so, from our perspective, it's something that they need to put in extra work. And we've talked about this before, but for some of them, if they have to work more on heading or they have to work more on fitness or whatever it is, they need to put in some extra individual work. And that work has to come on their own separately from practice, because we don't have enough time in practice to get 29 separate practice plans. And I think too, I think they can see the intensity level that they can go to where Midwestern played. And so hopefully they learn from that and say, all right, I can do better. I can be more physical. Their players were, really good at pressing and winning the ball back. And so hopefully they learn something from that match.
Coach, already talked a little bit about the reserve players showing you get to see the field as much. How important is that experience just moving forward, like in case you get injuries or anything like that, just throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's always important. They have to understand that, sometimes they get frustrated because they're not in games, and then they get put into games and they have an opportunity to show what they can do. And again, that's their opportunity. It's in practice. And if they got into that game and they didn't do as much, like I go back to, I want to say it was maybe not Lubbock Christian, probably maybe WT or someone like that. And first half we were doing okay, and then we put in our subs, and the field started tilting toward our own goal. And so they didn't lift our team and build our energy. And so they got that lesson in that game. And against Midwestern, they got, hey, this game is intense. And if you don't match that intensity, this is not a club game or a high school game, where they're going to just be nice and, hey, we're just all here to have a good time and don't get hurt in that. So it's good for them to get smacked around a little bit and make a decision. Am I going to put up with this for the next 3.5 years, or am I going to work to make sure that doesn't happen again? So I think it's a positive long term. I think it's a negative short term because they're not prepared. But they have an opportunity every day in practice to show us what they can do. And they've been what I would expect from young players. There are moments that are good, and there are moments that are not. And what we want to see is consistency. Before we trust them in a starting role, we really want to see consistency before we can have that loyalty aspect of, yeah, I'm going to put you in, and there may be some bumps along the road, but you're going to, in the end of the day, you're going to make it happen, make the positive stuff happen. So, yeah, that's about it with them.
All right, Coach, and then preview Eastern New Mexico a little bit for us.
They're struggling. They're going to be a team that, again, they're playing at home. I think it might be senior day for them. I'm not sure. So they'll be trying to do everything they can to get a result like they have all season. It's not going to be an easy game. And again, just talking about being intelligent. Hopefully, our leaders on the team and the returners on the team will say, listen, it doesn't matter what this team has done in the past. We have to perform. And we just got our butts whooped up in Wichita Falls. So we need to make sure that we are trying to bounce back and not just beat this team by one goal. What we need to focus on is how we're playing. And then hopefully a product of that will be good goals and good defending.
Well, after that beautiful trip to Portales, New Mexico, you get to come back home on Saturday to host UTPB. What do you anticipate from that matchup?
Yeah, it's going to be senior day. I'm not a huge fan of it because it's always emotions, and we're not focusing that much on the sport for a few minutes, anyways. But that's going to be another big opportunity for us. We have still to play. We play UTD at home, and then we have away at International and away at Women's, and those are 3 really tough games. Plus what we have this week. I mean, the travel to Eastern, that long trip and go and then play on turf. That's something that, again, we've shown pretty well on turf so far this year, so that I'm less worried about. But UTPB is going to be a tough game. I mean, they've gotten some results. They've scored goals against good teams. They've hung right in there. They're not a team that anybody's just run over. And so it's going to be a challenge, and we need to win. It's at home. It's senior day. There's lots of reasons why we need to perform. So could be the last home game of the year. So, or no, actually we got UTD after that. So, but yeah, we need to perform when we're at home with our fans.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.